On this week's episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Dear damsels, I am so bad at dating. I swear I cannot find anyone, and I literally moved across the country because I thought I'd have better options. I feel like I'm so awkward with texting and communicating with people online. And then I get insecure about my profile and if my photos don't look good enough. I wish I could just meet someone IRL. Please help me. Best can't communicate to date.
This message is intended as a reminder that we are not licensed professionals, not psychiatrists or psychologists. If you have a serious problem, please seek professional help. The National Suicide Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255.
There's some damsels in the DM.
Yes, queen.
Tell us what's the vibe. There's some damsels in the DM. Please tell us what's the vibe. DMs, yeah we see them, yeah we read them. DMs, we don't need them, we just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Damsels in the DMs. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Ash.
And today we have the absolutely amazing Erika Ettin, who is a dating coach, author, podcast host, come on the podcast to give us a little bit of information about how she started her company, which is called A Little Nudge. And honestly, I feel like I learned so much about the apps, which, is good to know as a dating podcast host and not something that I have personal experience with, but now I feel like I can give much better advice on texting.
Honestly, this is one of my favorite episodes because I always love when we get a dating expert, dating coach, relationship coach on our podcast because they just have so much experience, have so much to talk about, and there's so much to learn. And as a single girl that's going through the emotions and the drama of dating, it is really cool to hear their perspective and kind of get a free consultation.
Yeah. I was going to say, I feel like you got a lot of advice in this episode.
I definitely did. And definitely a lot to take back when I get back on the dating apps.
And Mom, if you're listening, it sounds like I can start to allow you over Bumble because they said that the over 50 and above club can make its way to Bumble and Hinge.
Yes, she does have a client that is 80 years old that is on Bumble.
So let's get into it and let you hear all about it. Hello, everyone. And today we are here with Erika Ettin. Hello, Erika.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
So Erika, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background, how you got into the dating industry or like dating coach industry, your podcast, and you
all
also
about A Little Nudge.
Author, just everything.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us all about you?
Okay, well, how long do you have? No,
all day.
yeah. I mean, who knew this was something you could do for a living, right? I certainly didn't. I studied economics in school because I thought, I should do the thing that's marketable, blah, blah. So I worked in finance for a number of years after college, and it was fine as far as desk jobs go. But on the flip side, I was a really early adopter of online dating. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you what year, but I started online dating in 2001. Nobody did online dating in 2001, but I'm like, this seems cool. What did I know? So, I did it on and off for a number of years. And then I sort of combined two things I really liked, online dating and spreadsheets, like you do. And initially I started the spreadsheet so I didn't accidentally write to the same person twice. I mean, this is well before, swiping and Tinder and all of that stuff. This was when you had to come up with a clever username. And, I didn't want to accidentally write to, these silly usernames twice. So then, because of my background in economics, I thought I can calculate some things in here. I can calculate the metrics. So I started calculating my response rate. So if I wrote to someone, what was the percent of people who wrote back? And then my conversion rate, like if the person wrote back, was I able to get to the point of going on a date? And I made little tweaks here and there and improved the results. And then, of course, my friends were like, what are you doing that I'm not? So I started helping friends with online dating, and I was loving it. And I was sitting in a cube every day and hating it. And so a little over 11 years ago, I quit my job. I worked at Fannie Mae at the time and started a business called A Little Nudge, helping people with online dating. So all the things that people don't like about online dating, it's hard to market yourself, it's time consuming, I don't have any good pictures. Those are all things I work with people on, because whether they do online dating or not, is not really, I don't care. But if they do it, that's where I come in, because I want to make sure people do it well and efficiently and ultimately successfully.
Amazing. So do you work with other, like, if I came to you and I was like, hey, Erika, I would love for you to help me with my dating profile. Is a little nudge like a whole database that you have on your end, or not database, but a platform you have on your end? Or do you help me with my Hinge, Raya, Bumble, whatever platform that I'm using?
The latter. So like you might go to someone who specializes in resumes or something, or a headhunter if you were looking for a job. That's what I am for online dating. So yes, I will write your Hinge. I will be jealous that you got on Raya, all the things. And I'll make sure you're really putting your best foot forward online.
Okay, amazing. Raya is not it, by the way.
I know.
So.
I've seen it.
It's really the worst.
They're all the same.
They're all the same, exactly. The same people are on the same platforms too. You're like,
Mhm.
I just saw you literally messaged me on this one and that one. Like, can you just pick one? And
Yep. Exactly.
I also love that you sort of treated dating like a business, because I think that's what so few people think to do, because you're like, oh, it's my dating life, it's my personal life. I shouldn't treat that like it's a business, but with anything, and we know that as actors and creators, that everything must be treated like a business.
Well, absolutely. And it baffles me sometimes how people think they don't have to put in any work, yet they're going to get the results they want. And I always make it analogous to a job search. So like let's say you get laid off from a job. You got to put together a resume. You're not going to just slop something together. You got to send it out to places, and you got to go on interviews. And let's say a few interviews don't go well. You're not going to say, ugh, guess working's not for me. Like that's just not anything that's important in life takes work. And the the number of people who don't see it that way is mind blowing. I mean, I even got off a call right before I'm seeing you two with a new client. It was just a coaching call, and I had her share her screen with me over Zoom, and she was complaining that she wasn't getting any dates from Bumble. And I said, okay, let me see what's going on here. And she had zero profile, so no words written in her Bumble profile. And I asked her, I said, how's anyone going to know what to talk to you about if you have no words? Now you're just, I mean, look, she was an attractive woman, but you're just banking on that. Like that's not substantive. And then I looked at all of her conversation starters, and it was like, hi, Joe. Hi, Robbie. And I'm like, these conversations, if you could even call that, are really boring. Yet she was complaining about not going on dates. And then of the ones she was going on, not quality. We have to put the work in to get there.
Yeah.
And so it's just fascinating to me how people don't correlate work and then getting results.
I agree. Every time I would see anyone's profile on these apps that do, like there's no words, it's just pictures.
Mhm.
I can't, there's nothing for me there. It's like, okay,
There's
great, you
nothing.
look good, but then I can't talk. The only conversation starter I'm going to say is, hey, Joe. Right?
Right.
Because like, I can't or
the hand wavy emoji. Like,
yeah,
exactly. And then, when it starts out that boring, for lack of better words, it always ends with like, how's your week? I'm tired. What are you doing this weekend? Resting, doing laundry. It's like, I don't even want to know that about my friends. Why would I want to know that about a stranger? I would rather ask you something of interest. And so I always tell clients, like, if you really want to swipe right on that person who has no profile and don't know what to say, try go off the wall, because it doesn't really matter. So I always say something like, you seem like a fill in the blank person. Am I right? Fill in the blank with whatever the heck you want. You seem like a night owl. You seem like a spreadsheet person. You seem like a, anchovy on pizza person. I'm making this up, obviously.
Yeah.
But at least it's something.
Yeah. So what do you think are some of the best prompts to be using if you're on the app?
Oh, I have lots of opinions about this. So on Hinge, you have to do 3, and I always recommend the same 2, and then the third can be whatever you want. But I love my simple pleasures, and that's my absolute favorite, because you can put a list of things. So on Hinge, for example, you get 150 characters, which isn't a lot of characters. Okay. And so why not use that space to your advantage? So for my simple pleasures, you could put iced coffee. Fine, but that takes what, like 8 characters? 10, I can count 10, I don't know, whatever. Or you could list iced coffee in any season. Walks with my dog on the weekend. Hummus and pita chips after work. A good old fashioned. Sleeping in on the weekends. Just a list of things that you like that aren't the same as anyone else. And so that list is unique to you. And that gives people what I call message bait. So essentially, you're planting bait there for someone to latch onto and write to you about. They feel brilliant because they've written something relevant, but really you're brilliant because you planted it there. And a little secret, if you like coffee or you drink socially alcohol, put in there what you like. So that way it makes it even easier for someone to know what to do with you on a first date. If you put that you like an old fashioned or whatever kind of drink, they'll be like, oh, where's the best old fashioned? Oh, let's try here. It makes getting to the date that much easier. I also like 2 truths and a lie. I know some people don't like this. I like it because people like to win. Okay. So if you give them a contest, they like to win, especially men. And so 2 truths, it doesn't have to be anything like, I always try to prod people. Have you ever met a celebrity? Is there a food you like that nobody else does, or vice versa? Are you a lefty or a righty? Were you born in the US? Like just something to jog people, to make people think about what they might put in there. Do you play an instrument? Anything could be interesting. Did you win a medal for something? I don't know. Let's come up with them. What are yours? This will be fun.
For 2 truths and a lie?
Yeah. Let's be creative. I'll think of some new ones.
Okay. I'm down.
Okay. I probably couldn't put this in the profile because it would sound too sexual, but I took flute for a month, but they told me that I didn't have enough breath and I had to quit the flute and pick up the violin, but I never did. Okay. That's one. That's true. Let's see. You guys have to think about this too.
Oh, are we going one, and one? Okay.
I don't know. Sure. Yeah.
I lived in Sweden.
Okay, cool.
I don't know how to swim.
Okay. All right. I wonder if that's true. My second thing is I sang the national anthem at a professional baseball game.
I met Obama.
Oh, okay.
Obama's my uncle.
Okay, I think I have a decent guess at yours. And lastly, I am allergic to white chocolate.
Okay. I don't like peppers.
Okay.
I grew up in London.
Okay, I think Obama is not your uncle. And I think you love peppers.
And you think I what?
Love peppers.
Okay. No, the lie is that the peppers.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. The lie is the peppers. Yeah.
Yes.
I think the lie is the national anthem.
That's actually true.
Wow.
Oh, the way you said it was like you were making it up on the spot.
I know. Yeah. Turns out maybe I should be the
She knows
actor.
what she's doing.
Yeah.
No, white chocolate I don't care for, but I'm not allergic to it.
Okay.
Anyway, back onto the apps.
Oh yeah, back to the apps. So I like those 2 prompts. And then the third one, whatever you want, just something you might have an interesting answer for. Maybe it's a few things you're looking for in a partner. Maybe I like some of the ones that are like, let's debate this topic, but not an actual topic, not like politics, but more like I like to mix more than 3 cereals together. That's a fun one to debate.
My favorite one was typical Sunday because I also like when other people do typical Sundays because you get to like.
He loves a routine also.
I love my routines. I love my
Every
Sundays.
routine.
They're my
She wants
favorite.
to know everyone's routine.
I think that's great. I think that's great too, because like my simple pleasures, you could put a bunch of stuff in there and it gives you a sense of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's great.
What do you think are the best types of photos to have on your profile?
Well, so Hinge is the only one that requires 6. For all the rest, I recommend 5. 5 is enough to get a sense of who you are without giving people too much information. For that reason, I also don't recommend attaching or linking your Instagram because people will look through, find one thing they don't like, and then swipe left because of it. So if you were to do 5 pictures, one clear shot of your face to start. Ultimately, people are very fast with making decisions. So you want them to see what you look like. Whether they like it or not, doesn't matter because it's you. So just make it a clear picture of your face. Number 2, a full body. People want to see what the rest of you looks like. Number 3, a picture of you doing something interesting. Maybe that's something on your Sunday routine. Maybe that's you eating a load of peppers, whatever. Just something, again, that provides message bait where someone can ask you a question about it. Maybe it's you actually with a microphone. And then people could ask, oh, do you have a podcast? Are you a commentator of some sort? So that would generate really good conversation. And then the last 2, just you in your element. I know people ask me, a lot of women in particular ask me, well, shouldn't I show I have friends? Okay. People aren't thinking about that, especially if you're a woman who is searching for someone of the opposite sex. Most men are not thinking, wow, she's really attractive. I don't know if she has friends. They just don't think the same as we do.
Yeah.
And so you could be out with friends, but crop most of your friends out. Okay, it's very clear you're out and about. But the last thing you want is 1, to be compared to your friends, and 2, for someone to just look so fast, not have the time to play Where's Waldo, and then swipe left because it's too much trouble.
I want to play a little rapid fire with you, and you can tell me if this is like the yes or no, basically, to this kind of photo. So, photos at the gym.
No.
Photos with fish.
Wait, are we talking about men, women, everyone?
Men. Okay, we'll go with men first. Ash, feel free to throw them in.
Okay.
No. Mirror selfies.
No, especially if there's mildew. Okay.
Photos at parties.
I mean, it depends what kind of party. If you're holding a red Solo cup, maybe not.
Photos with your dog, but only photos with your dog.
What do you mean only photos? Like 6
all of
photos
his-
with your dog?
All of his pictures have his dog in them.
No, he has no time for you.
Ooh. Photos with your mom.
No.
Why?
What is it? Yeah.
Well, I say photos alone
Yeah.
in every situation. Unless unless it's your dog, but one picture is fine, but don't borrow a dog to take a picture. Because then it's like, oh, is that your dog? No, it's my neighbor's friend's brother's dog. No.
Oh my God, you're going to hate my Raya profile.
I probably am. I can't wait to see it.
Number 1, I have 1,000. It's like a whole slideshow of like 1,000 pictures and like really quick. I was really proud of it. I made it in 2020. And then I put random stuff on it, like my longboard and like pictures that are not of me too. Just like random stuff that I like doing. But then I also have like 2 or 3 pictures of my puppy that I fostered for like 4 days.
That she doesn't have at
and
all.
People literally are like, is that your dog? And I'm like, what dog? I don't have a dog.
Yeah. Don't do that. So less is more. So don't you want people to like what they see and then want to meet you in person to get to know the real you versus looking through 100 pictures, finding one of a longboard and like, nah.
Yes. This is why I'm not successful in the dating game.
Well, that'll change once you're done with me.
For actors, what do you think about headshots?
I think it's fine if it's like one of the last pictures. It looks like you're trying too hard if it's the first one.
Mm-hmm. I would think the same.
Yeah, because it's like putting a LinkedIn profile picture in your dating app. And I see that, I'm like, fuck no.
It's a little corny and no one wants to. Basically, you want to look in the pictures how you're going to look when you show up on your date. So let's say you have a date to a nice cocktail bar after work. What would you look like to show up there versus you have a date on the weekend walking with your non-existent dog? Then what would you look like for that? I'm just messing with you. I'm sorry.
Please keep going.
So
like
basically, what do you look like in different scenarios? Those are the pictures people want to see in the profile because all they care about is who is showing up on the date. That's it.
Back to the Instagram thing. I kind of have the same thing where I hate when people put their Instagram on there, and I made the mistake and I'll never do it again. And I also deleted Hinge anyways, but I had my Instagram on there because I wanted people to like, my whole personality is on my Instagram. Like I'm very much my Instagram is not an aesthetic feed. It's like, it's literally who I am as a person, even my own stories. It's just who I am.
It's so
like, Thank you. But I don't try. The thing is, I don't try. I'm not trying on my Instagram page. So I want them to go and like see my personality on there, but I don't like when other guys do it. But then also I deleted it for this reason because a guy commented being like, he was like, oh, I see you're only putting your Instagram on there to get followers or something. But it was way more mean than that. And I was like, no, I don't care about
Okay, that's not nice, first of all.
Second, does have a lot of followers too.
Your personality, yes, it might be coming through on your Instagram, but I would venture to say it'll come through more in person.
Oh,
And
definitely.
I want people to get a sense of who you are in person versus making a bunch of assumptions from looking at your Instagram. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I just FaceTimed. So I've been like talking to someone. I've been friends with him for 3.5 years through Instagram. And now we're like developing something a little more than friendship.
How
And
fun.
so we FaceTimed for the first time today. And it was like, I didn't have that much time because I had a different meeting before this. So I was like, I gotta go. I have 2 meetings after this and then I'll call you. But I was so shy. Like I don't feel like I'm a shy person in real life. I feel like I have a bubbly personality. And even through my texts with him, like super bubbly, very chatty. And as soon as he called me, I like was smiling and I was like, I can't speak. Like I literally could not speak. And I was like, I straight up was like, I'm shy. Like, I don't know what else to say, but I'm shy. He asked me a question and I was like, nah, I'm shy.
Well, at least you were honest and you were nervous. Like you had a lot of built up expectation about this. 3.5 years of built up expectation. Who wouldn't be nervous or shy in that situation? Best thing you can do there is say, well, this is awkward. I'm a little nervous. You know, I always believe in oversharing, telling someone exactly the truth, because that way it completely breaks the ice. And I'm going to bet that, you know, they were nervous too.
Yeah. And it creates empathy with people too.
It does.
Which I think is so important in forming a connection. I want to talk to you about texting before the date, after the date, getting to the next date. And then also like, we talked a little bit about the, hey, Joe, how's your day going conversation. Like, we talked a little bit about what your suggestions are for that opening line, but also I'm curious, like how to keep it going to get to the date.
Okay. So this is very controversial advice, but since you have been following my Instagram, you may know that I don't advise any texting off of the dating app before the first date. And here's why. So inevitably, something goes wrong. Someone doesn't use the phone number, just doesn't text, and then the date never happens. Or someone starts with the good morning, good night, kissy face emoji before you've even met, which is honestly creepy. Someone says something inappropriate. Someone just drops the ball. So many obstacles you're putting in your own way before getting to that date. And I know you might say, well, if they're going to be that weird or gross, I want to know. And I'm saying, no, that takes up too much time. I would rather you just get to the date from the dating app. And I know people are like, oh, here's my number. It's so much easier. Is it that much easier? You turn on your notifications. It's no easier. And so if someone says, what's your number before scheduling a date, or here's my number, I would actually say, rather, just so it's not a rejection and more of an upgrade. I'm not really a big texter, but I would love to meet. How's next week? Or you could be really honest. You know, I don't love texting people I haven't met yet, but let's meet next week. And if they have an issue with that, so be it. But it's the truth. So this is not statistically significant, but anecdotally, there's a 60% chance of the date no longer happening if you exchange numbers before actually making the plans.
I have had guys also say the same thing where it's like, oh, it's just easier, but they'll say, just DM me. It's easier.
Oh,
and
that's worse.
Immediately no.
Yeah.
Or do you have Snap? Oh my God. There was this one guy that he looked really wholesome. On his typical Sunday, it was like getting dinner with my grandma, going to the farmer's market, like doing all the things that I would love to do. Right. So I was like, okay, wait, this is actually really sweet and wholesome. Like this is what I'm looking for. I've only gone for toxic men. This seems like maybe not a toxic man. So I said, or like I matched with him on Hinge and the conversation was good. And then he was like, hey, he was like, let's hang sometime. And I'm like, no, plan, like, don't just say, let's hang sometime. Like, don't leave it like that. Literally tell me, like, ask me when I'm free and then plan something.
Right.
And then I was like, yeah, for sure. And then he goes, do you have Instagram? And I was like, why do you need my Instagram? Like, also, I had my Instagram on my Hinge anyways. I'm like, my Instagram's already there. Number one. Number two, either like ask for my number, but now I know not to do the number thing before the first date, or just plan it. We're already chatting on this app. Why do you need to go to another app to chat more?
Correct. Exactly. Anyone who asks for your Instagram just wants to dig in and see as many pictures of you as humanly possible.
Yeah.
You're giving them the honor of actually meeting you in person. Whatever. I agree with you. I think it's so silly. I have to wonder sometimes if people actually want to even meet when they throw so many obstacles in their own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
And what do you think about women texting first? I know a lot of people have like controversy around this, and especially like after the date saying like, thank you for dinner or thank you for
I think that's a nice gesture. Yeah, I think it's a nice gesture, especially sometimes it's hard to read people. And maybe someone is on the fence about asking you out again because they don't want to be rejected and they're afraid you're not interested. It never hurts to just give a little encouragement. Like, thanks again for dinner. I had a great time. Looking forward to next time. I think that's great.
Okay, so you don't think that the like hard to get strategy is
No. Gosh, no. We're too old for that.
We don't play games here, Lauren.
Yeah, we don't play games here,
I'm
Lauren.
a podcast host, Osh. I'm asking leading questions. I've had a boyfriend, okay? I'm good.
For 7 years, we know. We don't play games here, though, okay? Just letting you know.
I think games are silly. I'm a very fast texter in general. I don't care who you are. I text everybody back very quickly. If someone thinks less of me because of that, that's a them problem, not a me problem. And so, like, if you're texting first or you answer quicker, okay, like that's just your personality. I wouldn't overthink it. Don't try to game it. Don't like say, oh, I'm going to set my alarm for in 4 hours to text back. It's so silly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Go ahead, Osh.
So I do play games, but I only play their games. And
after me calling me out for playing games,
I love it.
I play their games. I don't start any games, but I play it with my own rules.
Sure, you don't.
No, I do. So I am a fast type. If I have my phone in my hand, then I'm going to text you back immediately. I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to like wait 4 hours and then text them. But one of my best friends was like, who's not Lauren, said,
other best friend. No.
Yeah, I have other best friends. She was like, you're busy. Don't text them back. You're busy. You're busy doing other things. And I was like, but I'm free. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, the minute you start to overthink, it just, I think it just gets in the way of everything. Like we're all attached to our phones at all times. If you are busy, you're not going to answer till you're free. If you're not, you're going to answer. No big deal. If one text makes or breaks a new relationship, there are other issues beyond one text.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think are some of the most common mistakes you see people making on the apps? And like, what do you think is the most common advice that you give as a dating coach to your clients?
Most common mistakes, I would say first, I mean, we talked about this, just not writing a profile or writing one word here and there. Another common mistake is not being proactive. So like downloading the app, I mean, it's like going to the gym, right? You could, pay for a membership, but if you don't go in, you're not going to hit your goals. Same thing with online dating. You have to actually devote time to it. You want to stay positive, like to Asha's point earlier, when people say like, oh, I hate this online dating, blah, blah, blah. It's just such a turnoff. So whatever you're thinking, just flip it. Like I always ask clients, what are you looking for in a partner? And they'll say, I don't want this. I don't want that. And I'm like, turn it into what you do want. So anything positive, instead of no one night stands, how about I'm looking for a committed relationship? Doesn't that sound a lot more inviting?
Yeah.
Be honest about what you're looking for. People ask me, well, I have kids. Should I share that I have kids? Well, yeah, obviously. You don't want to like, surprise, I got 3 kids at home on a first date, so be honest about that.
Oh, speaking on that, sorry, just because
okay.
we're on that honesty thing. And if there's something you should share on the app, we did have this like controversial topic a couple months ago. I think it was the host episode that we did, and we had a letter come in that was this guy, he likes to dress up in he likes to cross dress. Okay. And he's having trouble dating because, you know, he doesn't tell women that he likes to cross dress, and then they find out later, and it just ends up not being a great thing. So the question was, should he share on his app or on a first date that, hey, this is what I'm into, even if it's not cross dressing, if it's anything, any like kink or like anything that like might deter someone else away?
There is a whole spectrum of things it could be.
Yeah.
So in this particular example, if it's frequent, yeah, I would put that out there. Maybe if you have 5 pictures, one of the pictures is wearing whatever he likes to wear, you know, whatever. I do think that's important.
Yeah.
Because it's something that's visible. It's something that's apparent. Now, something else like a sexual kink, for example, is not visible. I personally think that's something you share for when you want to be intimate with someone, because that's, I find it odd, to be honest, and a turn off when people have in their profile what their sexual kinks are. And it's like that leading with sex to me implies that you don't use a lot of discretion. And maybe this is an incorrect assumption, but it looks like you don't use a lot of discretion. You're sharing that with the whole world. How about just like pick and choose who you want to be intimate with? So some that's visible. I've worked with people in a wheelchair, for example. I know this is a totally different example than what you brought up, but they ask me, well, do I put pictures that show me in a wheelchair? Yes, of course. Because if you're going to meet someone, you don't want them to be surprised. And so I'd rather you go out with fewer people. Same thing like in your example. I'd rather you go out with fewer people who know the real you versus disappoint people because you've withheld information.
I was advising that they should not disclose it on the profile because I felt like it would make people not want to go on a date with them. And I felt like it was better to start talking to people, form a connection with somebody that they actually like. And then once that person likes them, then say that they have this kink, because I just felt like it was going to deplete their options.
Well, that's also true. And there are different sites. Like, I don't know if you've heard of this site called Field, FEALD, which is pretty much anything goes, anything and everything. There are couples on there who are looking for a third. There are people with different sexual kinks. It's pretty much like this, you know, end all be all, non-judgmental. So go on there then. And if you want to lead with that, I would say find a site where that's not just accepted, but, you know, encouraged. But yeah, I mean, generally when people lead with even certain acronyms like GGG, good, giving, and game, that's a Dan Savage coined term, which is basically like, I'm good with most things in sex. I'm probably not defining it right. Giving, like, you know, giving in sex, and game for most consensual things. Even seeing that in a profile, I find to be a turnoff, because even though the concept is great, that's still leading with sex.
Yeah. What's your favorite app?
I don't have favorite. It's whichever one you're most proactive on. But I will say the most popular right now are Bumble and Hinge. I like Hinge. I like Hinge a lot.
And do you think that you can go on Hinge or Bumble at any age? Or do you think that there are ones that, okay, so you think that you could be like somebody who's above 50 and be on Hinge?
Oh, absolutely. I would say Hinge skews a little bit younger than Bumble. I don't have the numbers. I have clients in their 70s who are on Bumble. Yeah. I have an 82-year-old client right now who's on Bumble.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So any age. Now, I would say some of the other sites like Match.com and eHarmony, for example, skew a lot older than the apps because they've been around longer, and 2, there's a desktop version.
Yeah.
I did a commercial for eHarmony, and now everyone thinks I'm on there. Like, I'm not on there.
Oh, that's so funny. You and the older gentleman who founded it.
Well, I have more questions for you about the apps and online dating, but today's letter also has these questions. So I feel like now is a great time. Osh, would you like to do the honors?
I would love to do the honors.
You go, girly.
Dear damsels, I am so bad at dating. I swear I cannot find anyone, and I literally moved across the country because I thought I'd have better options. I feel like I'm so awkward with texting and communicating with people online. Like I either have nothing to say or I feel like I'm the only one carrying the conversation. I want to meet someone, but it just feels like so much effort. And then I get insecure about my profile and if my photos don't look good enough. I wish I could just meet someone IRL, but I feel like that never happens. Please help me. Best can't communicate to date.
First of all, I think that this letter is interesting because you led with saying that you're bad at dating. And I feel like that's so mean to yourself. Like, and I don't think that anybody, one, nobody's going to find a partner if you're already being mean to yourself and negative and putting that energy out there, like you said from the beginning. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts. That was just my initial reaction.
I agree with what you just said, Lauren. To lead by saying I'm so bad at dating almost seems like that's an acceptance of your outcome. So to say I'm so bad at dating, anything you do will now prove that. Just like in statistics, I mean, I told you I'm a nerd. Like you can find data to support whatever results you want. So I don't want it to be a self-fulfilling prophecy for you. And then you said, I swear I cannot find anyone. Well, I don't know where you live, but I assume there are people around. And I'm just reading this, and I literally moved across the country because I thought I'd have better options. So I would certainly look, I'm not reprimanding anyone for making their choices, but I generally encourage if someone's thinking about moving for dating purposes, I discourage that because I want people to move because of their own life. Move, from the East Coast to the West Coast because you want the better weather, you want the opportunities for hiking, whatever it is, not to meet someone. Because what I don't want is for you to go out there. Look, our problems come with us. I don't want you to go out there and have the same results you had in the original place and think, why did I bother moving? But you've already moved, and I hope you're enjoying the new place. Next, I'll stop there and see if you guys have thoughts on that part.
Well, one thing that I wanted to ask you was about how you advise people who say they hate the apps and are really unwilling to get on an app and just, hoping to meet somebody in the real world.
You still have to do work. So that was actually the next part of my answer. So this person says here, I feel like I'm awkward with texting. I want to meet someone, feels like so much effort. It is effort. We talked about this. It should take effort. Yeah. Online dating is not like all or nothing. It's not black and white. It's not like I do online dating or I do nothing. There are so many other ways to meet people. I just wrote 3 down. So 1, wherever you're located, go to eventbrite.com. There are events listed for any city. Okay. There are on that. You can find anything from a comedy show to a speed dating event, to a magic show, to brunch with like-minded people, to hiking groups. It doesn't really matter. You will find it. And so there is nothing preventing you from finding a few events a month, maybe one a week, one every other week, and just going. And I think going by yourself is the way to go because that way you don't have a crutch who you can be talking to the whole time. Yeah. Speed dating, you're in real life, and it's an extremely efficient way to meet people. There are a few companies. There's one called Professionals in the City. There's one called City Swoon. There is one called My Cheeky Date. They all have speed dating events that you can go to. They're generally segmented by age range. So you're not going to get people, 30 years older than you or anything like that. And those can be phenomenal. Number 2, the dating app, The League. If you're on that, great. You don't get many matches or many options on The League. Generally, you get 3 a day if you're not paying. Using it for dating is fine, but the best part, in my opinion, of The League is the events. So there is a tab called Social on The League. You go to the Social tab, and then there's a sub-tab called Events. They have events in your city based on age or based on interests. They might have a Labor Day pool party event. They might have a, let's all meet and walk our dogs together event. Those are great ways to meet people where 100% of the people are dating and looking. Next, if you do decide to do Match.com, they also have events that are segmented by city and by age. They used to call them stir events. Now it's just the last tab on the website where you can meet people that way. There are also in every city, there are different newsletters and things like that. Sign up for every newsletter you could possibly imagine. I'm on newsletters for cities I don't even live in, just so I know what to tell clients to go to.
Yeah.
So I mean, my computer must be very confused about where I live. So if you've already decided I'm no good at this, which I wouldn't recommend doing anyway, then put yourself out there in another way, because no one is just going to knock on your door. And so, yes, to a letter writer, it will take effort, and that's okay. I'm giving you permission. It should feel like effort. Any relationship I've ever had, from online dating anyway, I've been the one to reach out. I've been the one to sort of keep it going until we meet. And that's okay. It's okay. That's what I have to say.
I wonder where this person was living and where they moved to.
I'm curious too.
Yeah, because I want to know if it was like New York to LA or vice versa. But I know I have my own like judgments on the dating scene in LA, and I've heard similar things about New York. Because for me, I feel like the majority of people that I go for in LA are people who have moved here from elsewhere, are trying to find themselves, are still lost in their journey. And of course, they're not going to be ready to, be in a committed relationship. So I do wonder if she did, or he or she did move from New York to LA or LA to New York.
I don't know. I mean, people love complaining about their own city. I'll just say that. I probably get 150 DMs a day on Instagram from people, and like at least a dozen every day are like, oh, dating in New York is terrible. Dating in DC is terrible. Dating in LA is, how about just like stop using that as an excuse? There are so many people out there. You're going to find terrible people, sure. You're also going to find good ones, but you have to be open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I think people forget that dating is meeting people. So it's like, it's like saying that all the people in this particular city suck. And that's just so unfair.
Exactly. Especially you live in that city and presumably you don't suck.
Yeah. My friends don't suck. My single guy friends don't suck.
Exactly. Exactly. I think people like to put a lot of disclaimers, like this person did. I am so bad at dating, or dating in fill in the blank city is terrible, or this, that, and the other. So that way, if they don't get the results they want, they can then fall back on that excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think what you were talking about earlier about how you were saying that it would be a bad idea if this person moved to somewhere that they didn't like. Because can you imagine, like, what if you were living in LA, you love LA, and then you move to Washington State because you hear that the ratio is better? What if you hate Washington State? You already started out being negative about dating. Now you hate where you live. Like, we're just on a downward slope here.
And that's the same too with, like, you could also do a meetup group. And people ask me, well, should I do a meetup group where I think there's going to be a lot of whatever guys or whatever? No, do one that you actually want to be doing. If you hate fishing, don't sign up for a fishing group because you're going to be miserable.
Right.
If you like hiking, sign up for the hiking group, because even if you don't meet anyone, at least you're enjoying the hike.
And then you get a workout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You might be you might meet a friend. I mean, that's not a loss. That's still a gain.
Definitely.
Agreed. I think we need to change this letter writer into using positive terms and not letting the universe give our letter writer what they're asking for.
I agree. I also think, this is more of an attitude shift, and obviously I can't change anyone's attitude, but I think a lot of people define success too narrowly. Like, I'm sure you know people like this who anything short of being in a long-term relationship or a marriage or whatever they want, they consider a failure. And that's just such a negative way of looking at life.
Mm-hmm.
If you go on 3 dates with someone and decide ultimately that this person isn't for you, or they decide that, that's not failure, that's progress. And so people don't see it like that. And the thing is, we don't know the outcome until the outcome. And so when people have such a defined way of looking at success, they're going to be very disappointed in the process. And so I always recommend, I call it dating NATO, not attached to outcome. Because when you're so attached to this outcome of a long-term relationship, for example, every date you go on feels like an interview. It feels like you're interviewing someone for that outcome. Whereas if you go in thinking, I'm meeting a new person, let's see what happens, then you're not so tied to one particular outcome. Maybe they'll become a friend or a business partner, or they have a friend who's a better fit for you, or a hiking buddy or a fishing buddy, whatever it is, or you'll date for 3 months. I don't know. Those are all suitable outcomes. And we can't see those as failure. We have to see those as stepping stones to get you to where you want to go.
Yeah. How often would you say you have to switch the mindset of your clients from like blaming the city, blaming other people, saying they only date one type of person, to making them look inwards?
All the time. And I'm not a psychologist, but I feel like it a lot. I can't change someone's outcome. I can make suggestions. I can tell them my philosophies on dating. And sometimes that really gets through to people. And sometimes I'll never get through to people. I mean, this same person I was working with earlier today who, had nothing written in the profile and was just saying, hey, on Bumble, everyone we looked at, she said, no, I don't like his hair. I don't like this. I don't like that. And I can't change that about somebody. I could preach day and night, like be more open-minded, blah, blah. An extra like strand of hair is not going to make a difference. But all I can do is encourage people. But my clients who do the best are the ones who will meet just a broad range of people just to see. And they're usually surprised by who they like.
Well, thank you so much, Erika, for everything that you've shared today, all of your amazing advice and wisdom. Can you please tell our listeners where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me in my chair at my desk. No. Yes, you can find me online, alittle-nudge.com. Basically everything A Little Nudge. Instagram, A Little Nudge. Facebook. I don't really use Twitter, but Twitter, all the things at A Little Nudge. And I always offer a free 20-minute consultation. There's a calendar on my website. If you're curious about how I might be able to work with you, revamp your profile, I'm always happy to do that free consultation and just talk through where you're struggling and see if I might be able to help.
Amazing. Well, if this French man of mine doesn't work out, I'm gonna.
Ooh la la. Oui.
Thank you, Erika.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Damsels in the DMs. As always, please write to us with your letters. We want to hear everything that's going on with you. You can visit our link tree on our Instagram, and that allows you to send it as a voice note, send it to us as a DM, or send it to us through our anonymous platform if you want to keep your identity disclosed.
I feel like a lot of people have been doing the anonymous way of reaching out to us, but someone actually DM'd us not long ago, and I got so happy seeing that DM in our inbox, and I was like, oh yay! But we welcome anything, DMs, voice notes, the anonymous messages. Honestly, any way that you want to reach us, we're there. We're here for you. We want to hear about your struggles, your wins, any questions, anything you want us to talk about, any guests you want on here. We're here for you.
And please subscribe, rate, and review us. That really makes a difference in getting our listenership up. We would really appreciate that on both Apple, Spotify, and anywhere that you like to listen to your podcasts. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Damsels in the DMs.
Until next time,
it's going down in the DMs. Bye.
DMs, we don't need them. We just leave them.
Please.
Yeah.
It's going down in the DMs. Bye.